Going to go to the cloud. Here we go.
Cool. Excellent. All right. We are recording. Excellent. I appreciate it, Karen.
You're welcome.
Here, if I can. Awesome. That'll make for a better recording and not distracting. So, excellent. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Power Hour. I appreciate you all jumping on. I was unable to bend the space-time continuum enough to get myself in front of a landline in time, so we needed to take care of it on the road. So the power of technology, that's awesome. But tonight I wanted to, I really appreciate you all jumping on. I know we're coming into the end of the month. It is Thursday. We got Friday and Saturday, 2 more solid days to finish out this month, and there's a lot of people that are on absolute fire, and I hope you all are some of them that are doing that. If not, don't feel like you got to wait till Sunday to be able to get in this game and start up on the first of the month. I can't encourage you enough to make sure that you are pushing as soon as you possibly can, and that means right now. So with that said, I want to open it up like we always do for questions first. I've got a couple things I'm going to talk about tonight on QV and CV. Once I get to the house, I'm about 20 minutes away. And then once I do that, I'll switch over to my Surface and I'll be able to draw out some things, but I'll be able to do most of this just by voice. But let's start off with any questions that anybody might have. Definitely go ahead and unmute yourself if you've got any questions. I'm not going to be able to read anything that you type. So if somebody types something, Karen, if you don't mind being my translator for me and reading those out, that would be awesome. But let's open it up first to any questions that anybody might have that they're running into, new people or people that have been in forever. It doesn't matter to me. Any question that you have, there's a really good chance that somebody else has been wondering about the same thing, and you can definitely help them out by asking that question. So let's open it up for those first.
Casey, I have a question. You just mentioned that you were going to talk about CV and QV, which is fantastic because mine is trying to figure out the pay gate. And I just can't seem, I called customer service and of course they told me it's too complicated, that there's no way they could do that. And they sent me on to the downloads. I tried putting in the numbers and that didn't quite do it either. So if you could cover that, it would be fantastic.
Okay, very good. Let's do this to start with. That's interesting that they said that. What did you ask them specifically, Joanne? So I make sure, because that's interesting that they would say that. What was your specific question to them as best you can recollect?
Okay, I said that I am 70 CV away from getting to the next pay gate. Yep. So what I wanted to know was how much that meant in dollars to me reaching the next pay gate. And they couldn't tell me that.
Yeah, it's okay. And that's a really good, that is actually a good answer. It's a frustrating answer, but it is a good answer. So let's talk about this. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this. This is a great question, and we'll spend most of our time tonight on this. So especially as you're coming into the final stretch of a month, one of the things that you always want to look at, and what most people look at, is their QV. They're looking to see, hey, am I about to make it to Jade, or am I about to hit it to Pearl or Sapphire or any of the different ranks? And that's the first thing we look at because the title. We like having the title, and we think that that's where most of the money's coming from in the compensation plan. There is definitely, without a doubt, very good advantages of being as high of a rank as you possibly can be. But the biggest bang for your buck as far as, you know, when you're looking at your numbers, which one should you be focused on the most? It's actually the CV numbers, which stands for customer volume. So there's a couple of different numbers on anything that you can purchase in the back office. There's typically 4 numbers that are associated to anything. If you look at the triangle of health, there's 4 numbers associated to it. If you look at somebody coming in for our US folks, if you're looking at the small package at $3.99, there are 4 numbers that are associated to it. Here's what those 4 numbers are that are associated. The first one is the QV, which stands for qualifying volume. So QV, that's the one that we look at most often. That one is used for calculating what your rank is, okay? The next number that's associated to the exact same transaction is the CV number, which stands for customer volume number. This is a different value. There's 4 values. This is the second value for that transaction. The third value that's associated to it is what's called the SV, which stands for sales volume. That one you're most interested on when you're talking about a new distributor. And then the final number is the KV number, which is the Kyani volume. If you ever notice that little funny little symbol at the top right when you're logged into the back office, and it shows the color of your rank. So if you're a Sapphire, you see blue. If you're a Ruby, you see red, so on and so forth. You'll see the different ranks that associate to your gemstone, and that is your lifetime rank. And it'll also have that funny little symbol, and the numbers that they show there, that's your KV. That's the amount of Kyani volume that you have. That's where that so-called loyalty bonus program kicks in. That's what that's based on. So the ones that we're going to focus on tonight are QV and CV. Most people get the QV because that's the number for the ranks. For your CV, for your pay gates, it's not based upon the KV or the QV number. It's based on the CV number. Okay, and the CV number, you get the number that they associate to the transactions is typically the CV number is smaller, much smaller than the QV number that's associated to it. Okay, now where do you find what these numbers are? If you go in as a distributor into your back office, into the store, it will show what those numbers are. Another place that you can go is there's a file in your back office underneath downloads that's called product catalog. That will also give you the 4 different numbers that you have for each transaction. Now you'll also notice that some of these transactions are dependent upon if you are a retail customer, which is just somebody that comes in and buys it one time, if you are a prime customer, if you are a prime customer on AutoShip, or if you are a retail customer on AutoShip. There are different values associated. The best possible point value you can get is for a prime customer on AutoShip. You get the most points. I think it's 80 QV that you get for that. If you're just a regular Triangle of Health customer, I believe it's 75, and then it drops down based on other categories. So anyway, those are where these numbers are coming from, okay? So when you're looking at these numbers, there's 2 reports that you can see. If you guys are on your computer, I highly recommend that you log into your back office right now and take a look. And Joanne, if you're in your back office, let's go ahead and do the same thing with you, and we'll use you as a case study. Since I'm not in front of my computer to share my screen, we'll just go with yours if you don't mind, because I think you're in front of your computer. So, Joanne, I think you said you were how many points away from a certain pay gate?
70. 70 CV.
Right. 70 CV.
Correct.
And so what she's looking at right now is she's looking at her pay gate status report. If you come into your back office on your dashboard, it's the one that you see over on the right-hand side. And there's different pay gates. There's pay gate 1, pay gate 2, all the way up to pay gate, I think it's 12 it goes up to. And so, Joanne, let's talk about what those numbers, you're 70 away. So when she says that, what she probably means is that her total, there's a couple of numbers that you look at for your pay gates. First thing you want to know is which pay gate are you about to hit. So Joanne, which pay gate are you getting close to hitting?
Pay gate 2.
Pay gate 1 or 2 or 3?
2. Pay gate 2.
One more time. Pay gate
2.
So she's pay gate 1 right now. And pay gate 1 means you have to have, and verify me on these, Joanne, but you got to have 200 points in your power leg. And then you got to have 100 points of CV in your 2 smallest legs. So if you're looking at the numbers, there's 2 numbers. There's 200-100. If you look in your back office and it looks at the numbers, what it's looking at, and this is very important to notice because this is different than how QV is calculated. And let me pause here. If anybody gets confused tonight, don't worry about it, okay? This is a next level topic that we're discussing. This is not something that you have to know how to do to be able to do this business, but this is something that you want to start learning. And this is not an easy topic. I'm going to tell you that up front. It is complicated. And be okay with the complication that we have in our comp plan, because there's no other comp plan like this. All right. This is a very special comp plan. And I'll be honest with you, I'm cool with it being complicated for the amount of money that they pay out. So be good with that. It's going to be something that's awkward. It's going to take a little to learn, and it's worth it to learn it. And we're going to talk about why tonight. So with all that said, if you don't get this, just look at it and let it wash over you. And if you just started, don't sweat it. We'll figure it out. And if you got any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me directly on this. So with that caveat, let's dig in. So the first pay gate is based on the two numbers. The first number is looking at the amount of CV, customer volume, that you have, the customer volume points, okay? And you get customer volume points from new distributors, and you also get it from customers, obviously customers that are buying potato packs, all those different things. They all have a different amount of CV that comes in. So you got to have 200 points in your power leg. That's your largest leg that you have, okay? So the only thing that distinguishes which leg is bigger than the other is solely the amount of volume that's in it, okay? So the calculator, the computer, looks at what you have in your legs. If you only have one leg, then you're only going to have a number in your power leg, and it'll have that number. Okay? The three numbers are, first one's power leg, second number is your smallest legs, and then the third number is your smallest leg. Okay? And so that's how the computer calculates those values. Now, you don't need a third leg, I think, until like pay gate 8. Okay? You only need values in 2 legs. And with the changes that they made, you've got your power leg. Let's say you have distributors in one and you don't have that many customers yet. So your power leg most often is your distributor leg. And you added it to your customer leg is going to be your smallest, is going to be another leg. Depending on the volume that's in either of those is going to determine which one's your power leg and which one's your smallest leg. Okay? So Joanne, how many points do you have? What's the two numbers that the report shows right now for you?
I have 1,175 in my power leg and 430 in my total small legs. And
That's
it
awesome.
says I need
So
500.
7. Yes. So the two numbers, the requirement for pay gate 1 is 200 in your power leg, 100 in your small legs. For the second pay gate, you got to have 700 in your power leg and 500 in your legs. Okay? So if you added that all up, that would be 1,200 points altogether. Now, what's different about the CV is they don't calculate it that way. They're just looking at your power leg, you got to have a certain amount, and then they're just looking at your small legs, and you got to have a certain amount. So she has well over 700 in her power leg. She has 1,000 points. And then if she looks at her small leg, she's 430. She's got to get to 500. So she needs 70 in that leg. So what you got to make sure is if you're trying to hit pay gate 2 in Joanne and something she wants to do, then you got to make sure that you're looking and you're making sure that the volume is going to occur in the correct leg. There's nothing worse than being 70 away. And then you make sure that somebody finally says, you know what, I'll do you a favor. And they come in and they buy something. And when they do it, that big leg goes up from 1,000 to 1,070. And your small leg stays at 430. That's very irritating. I'm just saying, I've heard people that ran, not me personally, of course. I'm just kidding. It sucks when that happens. Activity that you're okay. So is identify which one's leg. Now this is a little tricky. Is that you go to your rank status leg, your rank status report. When you do that, there is a report, there's an option on there that gives you leg details. Okay? So Joanne, what I'd like for you to do is, regardless of where you're at, go click on reports and go click on rank status for me.
Okay. I'm there.
when you do that, at the bottom, you have 3 columns. At the bottom of the middle column, there should be a leg details option for you. I think it's got a plus sign next to it. You see something like that?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to show you what your personal volume is. It's going to have your distributor volume, and then it's going to have leg 1, and then it should have leg 1, and it should show so much QV volume, and then it should have your second leg, and it should have so much volume. Is that what you see?
Yes.
All right. My assumption is that one of your legs, the power leg that you have, the biggest leg that you have is probably one of your distributors. What name does it have there?
Diane.
All right, so it's the Diane leg is your power leg. All right. Now, if you look at your outside largest leg or your second leg, what does it say for that one?
The name of the number.
Both, actually.
Okay, so that one's Heather, and
Okay.
and it's
Don't worry about
that.
the number, actually. I don't need
Okay.
So Heather is leg. So the way to look at this is those are the legs that you have. The second leg, Heather's leg, is where you need the 70 CV to show up in. Does that make sense, Joe?
Okay. So I'm not looking at
Light bulb.
I was looking at the wrong place. Gotcha.
Say, yeah, Joanne, I'm going through it.
So let me see.
So Joanne, does that make sense on where you need to put the volume?
Because that's going to put it in the second strongest leg. But the QV is always going to be relative to the CV. It's just going to be always more.
Correct. That's right. If you look at the two, it's not like one's going to flip-flop on you or anything like that. So that's why you can do what we just did. It's the easiest way I found to be able to see that.
Gotcha. So basically, I need Heather to order my 70 CV worth of stuff.
Or is it possible that someone in her leg can order that?
We've lost him.
Yeah, I think we've lost him.
Yeah, that should work.
Ideally, what you want to happen is somebody in that organization to do that. Because if you look at the letter of the law here, is we're not into bonus buying. We're not into doing that sort of thing to be able to make that happen. You want to encourage somebody in your organization to go do what they need to do. Now, when it's all said and done, it's all the same difference. But that is what you want to make sure is happening. Does that make sense, Joanne?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Now, here's why you want to do that. So, and for everybody along, what you want to make sure happens is if you look in the back office, since you're already in your back office, go to Downloads and then click on pull up the compensation plan. So do a search for compensation plan. I think it's 19 pages. When you look in there, you're going to look for pay gates. And when you look for pay gates, you're going to be able to see where it shows the different percentages that you get for the different pay gates that you hit. So for instance, if you hit pay gate 1, I think it's 4%. I'm going on memory here. If you hit pay gate 5%, okay.
5.
You're seeing it there? All right, so if it's 5% on that one, what is it?
We froze up, Casey.
second one is 7%. Pay
Yeah, I
gate
think he
2.
raised that. There he is.
Okay. Karen, can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Cool. So you said 5% and then 7% for pay gate 2?
Correct.
All right. And then what's pay gate? Give me what's the next couple?
8%, and then 7% again before,
Perfect.
and then
pay gate
6%.
All right,
and
we'll
then
just go from
6%.
there.
Yeah.
So pay gate 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the percentages go 5%, 7%, 8%, 7%, 6%. So let me explain how that works. If you take your total, right now you've got 1,000 CV in your power leg, and you've got 400. Let's say you get it up to 500, you got 1,500 CV. Okay?
Okay.
Let's say, let's make a small little tweak. Let's say that you're at 495 and you weren't paying attention to your CV numbers. So you're at 1,495. You got 1,000 in your power leg. You got 495 in your small leg. Therefore, not qualifying for pay gate 2. Okay? So with that said, you got 1,495. And assuming that there's nobody else below you in the organization that hit pay gate 1, you're looking at making 5% on that number. So that's approximately $75. Okay, so if nobody below you hit pay gate 1, then you would get pay gate 1 on all those numbers because you hit pay gate 1. Okay, does that make sense? Now this is where things get crazy, and I got to go through this in a certain order so that people understand this. Otherwise, it's going to hurt your head. Now, let's assume this is the simplest case. Let's assume that nobody hit pay gate 1, and let's say that you were paying attention and you hit pay gate 2, and nobody below you hit pay gate 1 or pay gate 2. That means that you're going to go through, and when it calculates, it looks and it says all this volume is in your pay gate 1. So you make about, let's say you got those extra 5 points. You had 1,000 in your power leg, 500 in your small legs. You had a total of 1,500 CV in your organization. You made 5% for pay gate 1, which was $75. But then it comes back around and it makes a second pass at 7%, which is another $105. You're now looking at a residual check of $180. That's the maximum amount that you could make. Now, here's why they couldn't tell you what you're going to make in dollars when you call them up. Because they don't know if anybody in your organization is also going to hit one of these pay gates.
Oh, okay.
Now, for them to hit that pay gate below you, that means that they, in their organization, had to have 200 points and 100 points in their respective legs, or 700 points and 500 points in their respective legs. So below you, if somebody hit those pay gates, they're going to get that pay gate bonus for the items, for the volume that's from them on down. So let me draw this out to see if I can make this make sense, because this is where things get really goofy. This is when everybody's head pops off. Joanne, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so here's Joanne. Okay, and then underneath of her, she has 2 legs. And let's say this person's here and this person's here, and they do stuff and they do stuff and they do stuff and they do stuff, so on and so forth. All right, so when she's looking at her numbers, she's got 1,000 CV in that leg, and she's got 495. Right now, she's actually sitting at 430 in that leg, okay? And so what this is putting her on the cusp of is pay gate 2. So let's say she gets this up to 500. She gets this, check mark, she's at pay gate 2. How does it do it? It looks down, and it looks down, and it sees, did anybody else hit pay gate 1 first off? Let's say that this person right here hits pay gate. And if they did that, that means that they had in their organization, they had 200 CV in that leg and they had 100 CV in that leg. Now, obviously, that 300 CV rolled up, and maybe that's where 300 of her 500 came from. If they hit pay gate 1 right here, they're going to get the pay gate 1 for the volume that's going through that. So she's not going to get all of this 500 and get 5% off of that. This person right here got 5% off of this chunk, which was 300 of those points. So they're going to make $15. Now for everybody else in that leg, plus all of these, let's say nobody hit it over there, then the remainder of 1,200, Joanne's gonna get, of the 1,200 left over, she's gonna get 5% on that. So she's gonna get $60. And this is where the other 15 went. If this person didn't hit pay gate 1, if nobody hit pay gate 1, then Joanne's gonna get that $15 as well. She's gonna get that pay gate 1 on that volume. So people say, well, I don't want people below me to hit pay gates. No, that's you want them all to hit pay gate, because if they all hit pay gate, guess what? That makes you go up a pay gate. So there's always that back and forth. And when it comes down to the last 2 days, that's when you want to look and see what's going on. You always want your people below you to hit pay gates before you, by the way. If you're ever in doubt, you help somebody below you hit pay gates. Yours will come. All right? So then the other thing is you come back and you hit pay gate 2 and you do it off of the whole thing, because if nobody hit pay gate 1, they sure as heck didn't hit pay gate 2, but you did. You had 700 in your power leg. You had 500 in your weak leg. That qualifies you for pay gate 2. So what they do is the computer runs again through all of that volume, and it decides who's getting the 7%. Well, that's you. You're getting all of it. 7% on all of it. So 7% on 1,500 is $105. So you would get 105 on top of that. And if you got the 15, then you made 180. So the way I look at this is whenever I'm figuring out, does it make sense for somebody to make a purchase? I look at those pay gates. I look to see, did anybody else hit it? And I see if I'm about to hit pay gate 2, chances are, is there anybody else that hit pay gate 2? It could be one way or the other. You look at that and you look at everybody in your org and say, nobody else hit it. So if I hit it, I'm going to get pay gate 2 on all this volume. And so you need to decide, is 7% on 1,500 worth a purchase to kick you over to do it? It's just math. So is there a purchase that you can do and you would make $120 or $115, $105 for you to hit that next rank? What's it going to cost to be able to do that? Now, if you got somebody below that's looking to get some more product, you encourage them to do that. They were going to do it anyway. And now that they do that, then you also get that volume and it kicks you over to the next level. Joanne, does that make sense?
Yes, I just totally knew nothing about the people under you reaching the pay gate levels and that subtracting from yours. Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's how it works. So if you look at my organization, David Daniel is underneath, and he's my first guy that I brought into the business. And if he hits pay gate, let's say pay gate 5. If I'm looking at pay gate, we're at pay gate 4, we're getting close. If Dave gets pay gate 5, he gets 6% down that whole leg. Now, if I also get pay gate 5, I don't get 6% off of that. He got that. But I get 6% off my other 2 legs.
Say that again.
So let's draw this out. So if this is me, this is Casey, and this is Dave, and I've got 2 other legs. So if this is Dave, if Dave gets pay gate 5 and I get pay gate 5, to show this point about how that takes away, if he gets it, he's going to get pay gate 5 on all this volume in here. Now, if he gets pay gate 5 and I get pay gate 5, I'm going to get pay gate 5 off of those two legs. If nobody in here hit pay gate 5. Okay? So you look at that too. So if let's say that I'm real close and he's real close and he kicks over and I'm deciding should I kick over? Well, if it makes sense that off of off of the volume that's here, if an extra, what's 6%? Because I'm obviously at pay gate 4 prior to that. So what's pay gate 5? It's 6%. So 6% on this is how much money, and whatever that number is, we figure that out. And then I see how much I'm short by, and let's say I'm short by 200 CV, and 6% off of that number would be, $800, and it's going to cost me $200 to do that. It doesn't take the rocket scientist to figure that out. I'm spending $200 to make 800 every single time. Somebody's getting ready to buy some triangles or potato packs or whatever the heck they need to buy. And right now, just so everybody knows, $300 of potato packs, $200 of potato packs gets you 300 QV, and it also gets you an amount of CV. I don't know what that number is. I haven't sat down to look at that. Karen, do you know?
I think it's 100.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they upped the CV value.
Just the QV is all they upped. QV is all they upped.
So your best bang for your buck in the back office is $200 potato pack gets you 100 CV. So if I'm looking at being 200, let's say I'm 200 CV shy, I would need to spend $400 to get that in potato pack. If I did that, it got me to pay gate 5, and it's 6% on this amount of money, which nets me another $800. I'm going to spend $400 in potato packs every single day to get $800 in residual income. Now, again, if that hurts your head, don't worry about it. Keep studying this. You want to understand this because when it comes down to the wire, this can make a difference. This can make a difference in your organization.
But is there any way to know what your downline? No, there isn't.
There is. You have to go through every single one, and you go into your back office, you do a report on them to see what their numbers are. I can go into my back office, and Joanne, I can see the same numbers you just looked at, and you do that for all your people, and you see who's close. Now, as a leader, this is one of the things that we as leaders do. We go in and we look at everybody's organization when we're about 5 to 3 days out for the end of the month. And when we see, hey, you're 47 QV or CV away from hitting something, it might make sense for you to go out and make sure somebody becomes a customer, because that would kick you over and it would make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then you're not going to hear from us. We're not going to bug you about it. But you as a leader want to be looking at your organization to do that. Now, especially if you can get them to hit pay gate 1 and that kicks you up to pay gate 2, that's what it's all about. Okay?
Where exactly is that report?
Let me log in real fast and I will show you. All right, y'all can still see my screen?
Yes.
So you can get to it a couple of different ways. If you're looking at yours, you can look at your CV, which is your rank status over here. You can look at your pay gate status right here. There's your power leg, total of your small legs and your third leg. You can see what pay gate you're at and what pay gate you're getting close to. And then you can click on here to see full report. There's not anything extra in there that you can't see on this one. Okay? So that's how you can tell, and you can see that you can do the math. I'm 3,620 away from doing that. Now, 3,600 points, and to hit pay gate 6, I think it's 5%. So 5% on 30,000 would be $1,500. Okay, so that last little bit that I need to kick that over is worth $1,500 if nobody else in my organization hits Paygate 6. But if I'm doing the quick math, I see that I am 3,000 away. That ain't gonna make mathematical sense. I ain't gonna reach that because $200 gets me 100 CV. So I would need $6,000 of potato packs to make $1,500 in residual. It's stupid, right? There's no chance.
Right.
So when I look at that, I go, okay, well, that's where we're at this month. Great job. We're crushing it on the other legs. We just need to get the power leg to move on up. Now, what you do is you don't look at that. You don't look at it from the top of the pyramid, at the top of the mountain. You go down to the very bottom of the mountain. And you look at all the people that if they're real close, you get them to Paygate 1. You get that one to Paygate 2. You get that one to Paygate 1. You get that one to Paygate 1. Everybody just needs it to kick in a little bit. Next thing you know, you got a couple hundred people in your power leg, and everybody goes out and maybe buys a $25 potato pack to get them over their humps. Next thing you know, all that adds up, and it might get you close. And so that's why you're constantly monitoring this the last 2 or 3 days of the month as it gets closer and closer. And when somebody's close, you do it for 2 reasons. One, obviously you want your numbers to go up, but more importantly, you want your people's to go up. So Joanne, I look at you and I see there's 70 points right there for Joanne. Who can we work on in Joanne's organization to help her hit Paygate 2? The more people that we can help down there, maybe we get a customer here and a customer there. Next thing you know, boom, you make Paygate 2. Well, if you make Paygate 2, what does that do for the next person? That's 70 more points. Does that get them anywhere? And so you look in your back office and you watch how this stuff builds up. And you'll hear a term called battle plans. The leaders in the organization, what those shooters are doing, they're actually looking at these battle plans. They're looking to see who's close on CV, who's close on QV. If somebody's literally 30 away from, hitting rank, it's like, dude, let's go buy some potato packs. Let's get this thing done, gets them upper rank. And then we're always looking at the Paygate too. That's the more important of the two. Now, it does make a difference. I've been talking exclusively tonight so far about Paygate, but your rank status makes a difference too, because your rank status determines the bonus, the team builder bonus that you get. If you're an emerald, then you get a certain percentage of the SV volume that comes in. So if you're close to making a rank, you want to hit that rank, because the new people that come in next month, you're going to get a different team builder bonus. You'll get more of a percentage the higher up you are in the ranks. So it's important too. It's just if you're looking at dollars to donuts here, Paygate's is where it's at. I mean, I just mentioned a difference of $1,500 if I can get that stupid freaking number right here to go up. And I promise you, I look at that number every single night. So if y'all want to see what I look at, let me go show you. So you guys are seeing behind the scenes here. Let me get this thing to reload. So this is how much these numbers are important. I track them daily, forever. So here's March. Here's the day of the month across the top. Here's March. So here's those numbers that we look at. There's 11,650, 12,1, 12,6, 13,1, 13,4, 13,5. When it starts doing that, that's when you hear sounds late at night. That's Casey screaming in his office, because it's been going up 700 points a day, or 300. And then all of a sudden it'll slow down and it'll only go up 200 points. And then all of a sudden it goes up 400 points, and then 400 points, and then 400 more points, and then 700 points, and then 500 points, and then 500 points, and then 400 points, and then 300 points, and then less than 100, and then 200. And that's when Casey cries. It is what it is. I'm just being straight up honest to you. And then I look over here and I see we're running out of runway here. And so we're going to need miracles to happen. And sometimes those miracles happen, sometimes they don't. If you look at here, it went from 48, no, that's the number, 13.6, and then it went to 14, and then it went 14.9. So it went up 900 points. Now, what's also interesting is you look at the second leg, it went from 14.4 to 16.9. It went up 2,700 points in 3 days. That's pretty cool. If you look over here, absolutely, let me move this out of the way from my side. If you look at January's numbers, it went from, you notice it stalled out, 15.1, 15.4, 15.6, and 16.2. If you look at the second number, it went from 1,100 to 15.5 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So it went like crazy. So that second leg went nuts. The second and third leg went nuts. The first leg slowed down. Okay. So anyway, those are the numbers. That's what they do. They're going to do what they're going to do, but you want to be focusing in on that. And more importantly, you're not worried about your numbers. You're worried about your team's numbers. When you go look into your organization, see what they're doing and see that they're getting close. Leaders, y'all want to look in your team's organization and start figuring that out. First, you got to put the oxygen mask on you. You got to figure out how this stuff works. And then you start focusing on what it does for your team. And then you start focusing on helping your team hit those ranks. That's advanced course stuff. That's outside the realm of power. I just want to start painting some pictures for you guys to start seeing how that works. Okay.
So where do you find that report on each person?
So if you go into your back office and you go to reports, underneath genealogy, you can go to genealogy view. Joanne, are you okay if I pull up your numbers for everybody?
Sure, sure.
So what you do is you go into filter.
Do it under Alan.
Okay. And once you type it in there, then you got to hit apply. And it's going to find all the people that have got something similar to that. So there's Alan. And you're going to be able to see what their QV is. And then you go over here to see what CV is.
You got to share screen.
Yeah, show us the
Oh, y'all want to see all this too?
Yeah, we do.
Let me start over. Okay. You see what I did? Sorry. All right, so you go to reports, you go to genealogy view, and then this pops up. You go to filter, you type in the name there, and you hit apply, and it's going to show you these tiles for the people that you're asking about. And then you got a couple of options that you can do. You can see some information about them. You can see what their QV is. You can go in and look at their status for if you want to see QV, or you can go to this one for CV. So if I click on that little plus sign, it's going to bring up the same report that you see. And there's the one for Alan.
Right.
You see in here, you see that 200 and 100 is what you need for pay gate 1. Here's where you're at, somewhere between pay gate 1 and pay gate 2. And to get to pay gate 2, you need 700 and 500. You got a check mark for the 700. Now you need 70, and it needs to be in that leg. Let me see what this one does if it shows. Oh, it tells you right there too. You didn't have to do that extra step I was telling you when I was in the car. You can click on the leg detail here, and that's how you know that somebody in Heather's organization needs to go buy 70 CV worth of stuff. Okay?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. And then the other thing that I was speaking about, now that I'm in here, I'll actually show you guys. If you go to the catalog and you download that, it's a PDF file. And when it opens up, it'll give you what the values are. So if you're looking at the $12.99 pack, you get 350 CV.
Hey, Casey,
Yeah.
the old catalog had the those 3 numbers for the potato packs, but it doesn't look like this catalog has it. Do you know if they've got that information someplace else so we know?
Best way that I've been able to find that is if you go into your back office and then go to your store from there.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that's what I did today. I just was wondering if there was a report someplace that had it. Okay.
I don't know any other spot to get that. And then
Okay.
for everybody else, I'll go ahead and finish through this one so you can see what I'm doing here. But I'm in my back office, and I'm going into my store, and I'm going in as a distributor. So the other thing is make sure you pick the yellow one because that's the one that's got the extra special volume that's
Hey,
in there.
Casey, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can I ask you something right here? Because, you know, up there at the top where you can purchase as a business or a personal consumption, is there a difference there, and should we do one or the other?
I always buy as a customer.
Personal shopping?
Yep.
Okay,
When
thank
you
you.
do that, it changes it over to a C in the number. That's how you know. I always buy it as that. And the reason I do that is because you get more volume that way. And it's gonna be a wash on the price. So if you look, it's 114 to buy this Triangle Health Pack with the packets, with the Extreme and the packets. If I go in and I buy this as business shopping, so 114 is the price there. And I go into as a distributor buying this. That same pack is $99. I'm not sure why it did that, but anyway, it was $99. So me, if I'm a customer and I buy that, I'm going to make the delta anyway. That's the retail profit. So I'm going to make that. And when I do that, I'm going to get more volume for it anyway. So I might as well do that to be able to kick up my other numbers, and then I get that in there. Then if you want to get really, really technical, I got to pay taxes on that because that's profit that I'm making. That's income that I'm making. So then you just got to figure out, does it make sense to do that or not? For me, always makes sense to do that. I'm always going to buy it as a customer. The only time that doesn't hold is if I'm buying the 10 packs of the trial pack, because that's the only way that you can get that is as a distributor, which I'm logged into right now.
Or the brochures, I think you have to buy as a business.
That's true too. I've never bought those, but that's a true statement as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if you go look at these as the back office, it will show you the QV, CV, and KV. Now, the one thing I'm not 100% on is if this number is different being in as a distributor, or if you go in and you buy this as a customer, if it gives you a different QV. I think it gives you more QV if you buy it as a customer. But anyway, you asked about potato packs. So if I go look at potato packs, and you see that underneath charity donations, and I click on the big one, and it's going to tell you what those values are. So there's that 100 CV that we were talking about. Normally you get 200 QV. Now you're getting 300.
So Casey?
Yeah.
I called the Cayenne hotline and because I got confused versus distributor versus customer when I put my order in for potato packs today. And she led me to believe that there was no difference in buying it as a distributor or as a customer when it came to the QV and CVs. But
on potato packs, that's a true statement.
Okay. So
on the other items, I don't know if that's a true statement. I can't say one way or the other. I'm not 100% on that. So I'll tell y'all when I don't know. I don't know that for certain. I think there is a difference. I think you get more for the other items. Like if you're buying a Triangle or you want some extra nitro or something, I think you get better for doing it as a customer.
Hey, Casey, the catalog has that information, and just a quick look, it looks like the QV is different, but the CV on most of the items looks like it's the same regardless of whether you buy as a business partner, a retail, or prime customer with AutoShip.
So I think the answer off of that, those 2 or 3 statements we just had there is if you're buying potato packs, doesn't matter. If you're buying product, the CV isn't going to be different, but the QV is going to be more if you buy it as a customer. And you're making the retail profit anyway, I'd say go for being a customer.
Yep. That's helpful, Casey. Thank you.
John, does that make sense or no?
no, I called back 3 times today because my concern was the goal here was not only to make the donation, but if I do it from a customer perspective from the company, do I benefit on volume In other words, trying to get that extra leg of flow through volume as a customer versus just as a distributor. And she said it should not matter.
For potato packs, I agree with that statement.
Okay. Well, that's that was my big concern. So.
Yeah. And then the extra bit of information is if you were buying a bottle of nitro, buy it as a customer, you get more QV for it. There's an advantage to buying it as a customer if you're buying other items like nitro or a triangle or anything like that.
So when we're buying our personal products, like, right, and I don't mean to take all this time for
No, this is what it's about, man.
When we're buying our personal products, Linda and I are buying ours through Linda's system, right?
Okay.
I have no volume other than with these potato packs that I did prior to today.
Uh-huh.
So should we be splitting that off where we take one order for Linda, one order for myself, and splitting those off into two different distributor numbers?
So good question. Let me frame this up for everybody so that they get value out of this as well. If you've got two positions, if you're a husband and wife couple, you got two spots, then what I always suggest is you focus on one of those two positions and you build that one first. And there's thoughts and theories on which one to build. I always suggest build the lower one. Let me share my screen here and show you what I'm talking about. So for you guys, Linda was the first position.
We did end up talking.
John was the second position.
No, the opposite.
John, are you there? Did I do that backwards?
It's reversed. I'm on top. Linda's under me.
Gotcha. Thank you. So in that case, and Linda is building out the organization, what I suggest is you always build the lower position first. When you do that, what's going to happen is, let's say you get this position to, let's say you get 6,000 in this leg, 4,000 in that leg. That position is a sapphire, meaning it's got 10,000 total and it's got 4,000 outside the largest leg. And that's what we see here. 10,000 total, 4,000 over here. When that happens, this leg for John, your main leg has 10,000 in it. All you got to do is go over here and build this one for 4,000. So all you got to do is build a second leg, 40% of what you need to do, and you've already maximized it. So, go ahead, John.
Should I have put those potato packs under Linda, or should I have left them over where I did under me?
I would say, yeah, go ahead.
That's going to be a monthly donation that goes through. And kind of when you sent me that answer today, I kind of thought about it. I went, okay, so I'm going to build Linda's my strong leg. I have no other leg. So is that why I'm putting it over here? I tried to understand the method of.
I screwed up then on that one. I looked at it wrong, and that's why I drew it that way, because that's what I thought I saw when I looked it up in the back office.
All right, so next month I'll just change that. I'll leave the donation. I can't change it.
Yeah, it's done.
But I'll go in for next month.
Yeah, it's not material either way this time. But yeah, that was my bad. I did that wrong then, because I could have swore, because I looked at it 3 different times. But I got it wrong, obviously. So
no big deal.
Yeah. But yes, you want it to be down here on this one, because that's the position that you guys are focusing your fire on right now.
So am I going to put that in as a company, as a customer of a company, or am I going to do that as a customer as Linda?
For potato packs, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
It depends on only what you want your business to. If you want your business to have the write-off, then you would do that.
That's why I did it. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Multiple reasons I would do it for that reason. That's a write-off.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies on on flubbing that one.
No need.
Cool. Very cool.
Hey, Casey, one
Yes,
good
ma'am.
thing about it, John only needs 100 in his small leg to hit pay gate 1 on that.
That's cool. And how about Linda? Is she pay gate 1 or pay gate 2?
She's almost pay gate 2.
Interesting. So that's one where John and Linda and everybody, that's where Karen, who is their shooter in this group, she can go look at that, and that's something that she's focusing on. And she can look and see, hey, it might make sense or it might not. You just have to look and see, because John, you could get pay gate 1 and then Linda could get pay gate 2. So John, you would just get pay gate 1 on your personal volume, because
Yeah,
Linda could get pay gate 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Under-
Linda's like 95 away in her power leg to hit pay gate 2.
Nice.
So we should be able to get them both hitting pay gates.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, if we after we get through these calls tonight,
Yeah, I'll help you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then just do the math on that and see if it makes sense. On pay gate 1, you're looking at 5%. It's probably not going to be worth it to be able to get that extra volume, unless you've got other reasons and other alternatives on what you want to be able to do. And if it's close, then you do the math and make that decision on, hey, does it make sense for me to buy this? When you're looking at it just in that, no, the math isn't there. But if you're trying to get a write-off for another business, it can make a whole lot of sense to be able to do so. So those are that. The purpose of tonight's call is to give you guys some of that math on where you can then see how this thing works and make that decision on if it makes sense to do it or not. A lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it does. There's a lot of times where I would have missed out on, several $100s if I hadn't have gone in and, hey, you know what? I need some extra sunrise. It's good to have it around the house. I want to hand these out as samples anyway. Why wouldn't I do it? Awesome. All right.
Another stupid question.
Yeah. What you,
So I know we're talking about buying potato packs and so forth, but you can also go down your leg that you need it in and help them obtain customers or business partners, and that would work too, right?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can go in there and you can get all sorts of
Hi,
people.
Colton.
On. Say hi.
Hi, Colton.
He's like, who are all these people?
What?
Yeah, what you can do is you can go off and you can, another thing that you can do is you can go all the way down to the deepest part of your organization. If you've got a pretty good size organization, go all the way down into that leg and make sure if there's going to be a purchase that's going to happen, go all the way to the bottom of that. And when you put that in there, let's say it's 100 CV. That 100 CV is going to roll through every single portion of that leg and hit you and keep on going beyond that. So it absolutely makes sense to do that. If you get a distributor that comes in, same type of thing. That's going to be. So you want to know your best bang for your buck. It's typically distributors coming into your organization that makes that CV and QV number go up the fastest.
Hey, Casey.
Yes, sir.
In that example you're just giving with John and Linda, if John hit pay gate 1, I'm pretty in the instructional video. It shows that he would get paid on Linda as well, so he'd get paid on his personal volume and her.
It used to be that way because the volume for your personal rolled up.
Okay.
Now it goes into the leg that is your customers.
Right.
Okay. So you no longer get paid on that person who hit the pay gate underneath you.
Right. They get their own volume now, which is way cool. I think it's so much better that way. And that's one of the major changes that happened in February 1st when those new enhancements came in. All of that and all those numbers didn't roll up. All your let's say you went out and let's say you had 6,000 customers.
Mm-hmm.
All of that volume rolled up to the person that sponsored you. It rolled up to the person above you, which sucks because you're the one that did all that work. It's great for the guy above, but that's not the thing. Wait, bye.
Yeah.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. You gonna say bye? Not gonna say bye. And so I like it a whole lot better, honestly. I like it a whole lot better that people that are out doing a whole lot of work are actually going to get the benefit of that, and they're going to get paid on that. And so your checks, your residual checks are going up significantly as a result of those changes that they put in place, big time. It was a huge, huge positive step that they made, in my opinion.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, we are out of time. if you don't mind, Karen, go ahead and stop that recording for me. And everybody, we're going to say